Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And we sure appreciate you guys coming on with us. It's always our pleasure. And can we say hello to a few folks as you get your notifications that we're on here? And let me see. Who's number one on the hit parade this morning? It is Sandy. How are you? From Fergus Falls, Minnesota. And Kevin, you're number two. Tina, Madeleine, from Kippawa. Chantal, how are you? And Nellie, good morning to you. Nick from our staff. And Louise, how are you? Teresa, Calgary, Alberta. Nativity, good morning. And Nancy, Iowa, how are you? Arlene, good to have you on this morning. And Wendy from Markham. And Rita from Wasaga. Marianne, Nancy, Gore's Landing, beautiful. Milika. And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Christina, Janice, how are you? Diane. And Carol, Moncton, New Brunswick, good morning. Lynn, bonjour. Denise, Oakville. Annette, good morning to you. Lenora, how are you? Marlene, Porto Basque. Bonnie, I didn't mean to miss you, Bonnie, honest. Karen, Peterborough, Linda, those Lindas. Sherry, I want to sing. Karen, good morning. And Gary from Bolton, how are you? And I think that was Milika. Len and Judy, Edmonton, Alberta. Bev, how are you? Shirley, Sherwood Park, Alberta. Marianne. And Marianne was on vacation in Holland, and I can't see it. Doc McEwen, how are you, Doc? I haven't talked to you in a while. Tina, good morning. Brandon, Indiana. Monica, good morning. And I can't see. Oh, Sherry, Fran, I don't think I didn't mean to miss you, Fran. Irene, Diane, Thunder Bay. Wendy, how are you? And Wanda from Texas. Must be hot. Paul, how are you from Edmonton? Patricia. Jerry, good morning. Couple of more, guys. See, I missed you. And I missed. It goes up into that little, I can't see it. Karen, how are you? Pat? Folks, to the ones that I miss, I don't mean it. Okay, let's do a little bit of tea. Hi, Rosalinda from the Kidneys of Canada, Niagara Falls. April, Vince, good morning to you. And Sharon and Rose from Peterborough. Cheryl, I missed you too, huh? Thea, how are you? Sue. In the clouds again, Debbie, Sturgeon Falls. Okay, I want to we're going to rinse and repeat this morning because we're going to talk about insulin resistance. And we're going to talk about 93% of the population. Incredible. But I sort of built out a little chart here, okay? I built out a little chart, and we're going to look at it this morning, okay? We're going to look at this chart, and hold on, I'm just going to bring this down just a touch. Okay. And we are going to go over this because I think it's always good. I want you guys to understand my thinking. Where do I come from? Why am I so adamant? Why is it that the doctor is in podcast comes back almost invariably to food. Okay? Why? Because it's the biggest problem in our healthcare system today. It's the elephant in the room. And it's unfortunate, but medicine is not trained in food. They're not trained in nutrition. They get less than an hour in medical school. If a protein slapped most doctors in the face, they wouldn't even know it. They wouldn't even know how to differentiate it. They wouldn't be able to tell you. Other than, there's vitamins, minerals, there's macros and in the food, there's protein, fat, carbohydrate, but that's it. And they rarely ever see the connection. And why today? 93%. I didn't make that up, guys. I didn't make that percentage up. I used to preach, even on my radio show, that it was 88%. Because that's what the statistics were. 2015, 2016, and then I think it was 2021, 2022. It went up to 93%. And that's the elephant in the room. And when you understand that, and I know my audience does, it makes all the difference in the world, because you can't control everything in life. You can't. Okay? You can't. You can be the healthiest person in the world, and you cross the street and get hit by a bus. You can't control everything, right? I know you're looking both ways. I hope you do before you cross the street. But sometimes people make mistakes, or other people, usually in accidents, somebody made a mistake and you pay the price for that. But when it comes to health, when it comes to prevention, when it comes to taking care of yourself, that's what I try and do. I try and get people's attention, to those who will listen. Linda, Larry's out there, the Linda's out there, the Larry's out there. You know what I mean by that? Listen, Linda. Listen, Larry. If you're listening, here is the bottom line. To 93% of the population, the bottom line. Let's look at it again. I think it's important to do it. I got to put another thing. But I sort of just drew this up this morning. Okay? Now, I hope you can read my writing. And if you can't, I don't know I can't write any better than this. Okay? So, there's only one arrow going down. Okay? So, in the circle, you have insulin resistance. Okay? That is metabolic syndrome. That is what is causing the biggest cause. You see, when I was in school, okay, you have to understand, okay, I was just laughing about this today because it's my sister's birthday and her and I are very close. And, I always tease her that she's older than me, a lot older, but she's not. Okay? She's a year and a half older than I am. Okay, but I tease her that she's the old lady in the family. Okay, and but guys, when I was in school, in the days of Noah, the biggest thing that in medicine, okay, the biggest thing in school, what was killing people. Okay? What was it? Biggest thing when I was in school in the late 60s, early 70s. post-secondary. Bugs, bacteria, viruses. Okay? That's my training. Bacteria, viruses. Okay? And, yeah, we talked about diabetes. And, you know, that was in the 1970s. That's genetics. And, of course, it was just coming out, the effects of smoking. So medicine got that right, smoking. And viruses and bacteria, the introduction of antibiotics, not for viruses, but bacteria. I mean, think of the millions of people, lives that were saved. And even with insulin, with the Canadian, Dr. Banting, and the discovery of insulin. Wonderful. Saved millions of people's lives. Okay? But then, since the 1980s, we've had a paradigm shift. Tony Jr. used to call it, Dad, it's inflammation without infection. So we're not talking about infection. This is, and when that virus came around in 2020, you saw it. The world went stupid on the virus. Never once, it seems, talked about your immune system and how to take care of it. And they never once talked about insulin resistance. And they should have been. Because the only people that got sick, the only people that were hospitalized, and I mean it, guys, were people with insulin resistance. But they didn't talk about that. And that bothered me. And as you well know, guys, I was consistent talking about metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, and it's a food problem primarily. Now, let me show you again. The only arrow going down, okay? See that arrow going down? Okay? Excess carbs, because that's what causes insulin resistance. It's excess carbohydrates. It's food. Excess fructose. Remember, they substituted the sugar. 1980. I watched it happen. I was screaming blue murder. When man gets involved in the food process, it's usually not good. Okay? So you can eat fruit, but when they turn sugar into high fructose corn syrup, they were creating a disaster. They changed the sugar. What was the first fast food? 100 years ago and more. Sliced bread. Because they changed the flour. They took all the nutrition, all the nutrients out of flour. And they made bread a fast food. Excess carbohydrates, pasta, noodles, crappy dinner, and all those things. Okay? So, excess carbs, excess fructose, okay? Excess weight. Well, because of this, people were getting bigger. Not stronger, bigger. We had, starting in the 80s, an obesity crisis. Right? You know how my old expression, or little story, I would say, if in the 1970s, you and I, if Elon Musk was doing it at the time, of course he wasn't, but let's say he was, and you and I went in one of his rockets and decided to leave the planet and come back in 2024, let's say we went to the moon or Mars or whatever, and we come back, we would go, what in the heck happened to people? What happened? Why are people so big? And I don't mean tall. I mean round. Why are people so big? Go to the mall. Observe. Use your eyeballs. And you'll see people are big today. Okay? What happened? They changed the sugar to fructose. High fructose corn syrup. It sounds healthy, but it's been an unmitigated disaster for society. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. You do not want to drink sugar. You don't want to drink it. It's the worst thing you can do. Fructose, that's what they put in Pepsi. That's what they put in Coke. That's what they put in every soda. And then they convince people that the best drink you can drink is orange juice. I said, no, God wanted you to eat fruit, not drink it. Because that goes directly to your liver. Fructose, high fructose corn syrup. And we got kids walking around today. Kids with fatty liver. I'm not kidding you guys, and I say it again and again and again. In the 1970s, you can read any medical book you want. I got some on my shelf over there. You won't read about fatty liver. You'll read about cirrhosis of the liver, alcohol related, right? I studied that, but I didn't study fatty liver. It wasn't around. Okay? So, causes: excess carbs, excess fructose, excess weight, which comes from this, by the way. Okay? And one that's not food related, but I bring it in here because it can create insulin resistance on its own, is excess stress. Men, we live in a different world today. I wrote about that in chronic fatigue syndrome when I wrote those books on chronic fatigue. We live in a different world. It's more complicated. Everything seems to happen faster. 24-hour news cycles. People are stressed today. And when your cortisol, your stress hormone, is never turned off, that has an effect on your insulin. It really has an effect on the pancreas. And then you add bad food, and now you got a double whammo. Okay? So thus the circle in the middle. Insulin resistance. That's the baby. That is the baby. This is the key to our healthcare system. Not bacteria and viruses. I'm not saying we shouldn't treat them. I'm not saying that. But that's not what's killing us. 93% of the population have a have trouble with that baby right there. Insulin resistance. You see it? Okay. And what does it do? Never good. There's nothing good about insulin resistance. I wrote a book, and Tony Jr. and I wrote a book in 2011. Serial killers. 2 hormones that want you dead. Insulin, that baby right there, and then cortisol, excess stress. Were we prophetic in nature? Okay. Because when I wrote that book, we talked about what insulin does. Insulin's supposed to have a part-time job, not a full-time job. Cells at the cellular level. Remember, insulin is a traffic cop, okay? Its primary job is to tell sugar, out, 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 out. You can't stay in the bloodstream. Do you hear me? You can't park there. Sugar, come with me. And it goes primarily to muscle cells, liver cells, and fat cells. And it says, knock, 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 knock. Hey, I'm here to deliver glucose. Open up. I want you to open up. I gotta park this sugar. I can't leave it in the bloodstream. I'm going to park it. And the liver, which is often the Costco parking lot, it's full. The liver goes, hey, get out of here. You got no muscle to store it. The muscle cells go, hey, get out of here. I got no room. So you know what insulin does? Insulin's a growth hormone. What do you mean, Doc? It's a growth hormone. Well, it will take fat cells and make more and more and more and more. It's got to store that sugar somewhere, guys. That's how insulin operates. And imagine we live in a society. We live in a medical care system. You and I. We live in a system that doesn't recognize that. Our medical system is based on wait till you get sick. Diabetes? You're not a diabetic. Okay, wait. Oh, now you're a diabetic? Here's medication. They hardly even talk about food. Oh, here's medicine. Eat everything in moderation. That's what you should do. Eat in moderation. I heard that in the 70s, for heaven's sakes. Insulin resistance is the key. It's 93% of the population have trouble with insulin resistance, guys. See that? Okay. So let's start. Let's go through what happens when you have insulin resistance. Okay? What happens in the body when your cells, okay, especially your fat cells, your muscle cells, your liver cells, the primary area where insulin wants to store sugar, glucose. If you eat a piece of bread, oh, Dr. Martin, it's whole wheat. I don't care. Whole wheat is just sugar molecules holding hands. It's going to be sugar. And you're going to need a lot of insulin. And it's got to store it. It can't let it park in the parking lot, your blood vessels. It can't stay there. Carbs turn to sugars rapidly. Rapidly. Insulin says, don't park. No parking zone. Sugar, come with me. Can't stay there. Come with me. We're on the way to the liver. We're on their way to muscles. Or, oh, no more parking? Okay, we're going to make more parking spots. I'm going to create more fat, visceral fat, bad fat, parking spots around your pancreas, around your stomach, around your heart, around your liver, around your gut, your organs, around your kidneys. That's what insulin does, guys. It makes fat. And even guys, when I was in school, you know what was vilified? Not carbs. Fat was vilified. And very specifically, saturated fat. That was vilified. Saturated fat. Oh, bad. They didn't even understand the basics of how your pancreas works, how insulin works. They didn't even understand that. The elephant in the room. Okay? Now, I've done a big circle, and I'm gonna add more. I gotta, because I ran out of room, but I don't know where to put anything else. But let's talk about it. We're gonna start with the heart. What has insulin got to do with the heart? Well, it has a lot to do with the heart. Okay? In a couple of ways. One, when insulin, okay, there's the baby, insulin resistance, when you have excess carbs, excess sugar, excess weight, what happens? You are increasing your triglycerides, fat balls. Okay? TG. That's why when I look at blood work, I'm very interested. Not in your total cholesterol. You can't make me interested in total cholesterol. I'm not interested. Doc, what about my cholesterol? Is it high? Yeah, good. Because when you have excess fat in the liver caused by insulin resistance, your triglycerides go up, your fat balls, and your HDL cholesterol goes down. The opposite of what should happen. That's damaging to your heart. Why are we losing the war on heart disease? Because we're looking for love in all the wrong places. We're talking about cholesterol when cholesterol's not the boogeyman. It's not the bad guy. It's triglycerides. And you get excess triglycerides when you got insulin resistance because of excess carbs and excess sugars. I get uptight because we're not talking about it. Well, we are. You and I are. But the world isn't. The world has been bamboozled. Bamboozled by the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry. Think about this for a minute, guys. Imagine treating heart disease and you're not even getting at the source of it. You're treating symptoms and not getting at the root cause. President Eisenhower, okay? I know my American friends are going to have an election soon, right? Go back in your presidents and go to President Eisenhower, even in 1956, when he had a heart attack on a golf course. He was in a sand trap. When I get into a sand trap, guys, I feel like having a heart attack too, because I can't get out of it. And I don't even play golf very much. I don't. Okay? But what did they say? And it took the whole world by storm. President Eisenhower had a heart attack because of cholesterol. And the rest, my friend, is history. They were wrong. President Eisenhower didn't have a heart attack because of cholesterol. Cholesterol was at the crime scene. Of course it is. It's the police at the crime scene. Are they the bad guys? It's the firemen at a fire. Are they the bad guys? They're not the bad guys. They're there to put the fire out. Cholesterol is on your side. But it got blamed. It was an innocent victim. It got blamed. And it started. Imagine one man. Well, he was important. He was the president of the United States. He dropped in the sand trap. One man. I call him a serial killer. I know he didn't mean it. Okay? He was a serial killer. His name was Ansel Keys. And he said, I know why President Eisenhower, he was a pathologist out of Minnesota. He said, I know why President Eisenhower had a heart attack. Cholesterol. He's eating too much butter. He's eating too much steak. He's eating too many eggs. Oh, yeah? Looking for love in all the wrong places. President Eisenhower, what they didn't tell us was that he was smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day. That was the culprit. Okay? But here we are in 2024. Okay? 70 years later. And we're still blaming the police. We're still blaming the firemen. We're still blaming them for heart disease. Guys, you can't, okay? You can't make me look at cholesterol as a culprit unless it's low. Okay? If you have low levels of HDL, you're in doo-doo. Well, as a matter of fact, and I brought to you by the Martin Clinic for many years, I always said they found a drug to lower LDL. And the world ran with it, called statin drugs. And it gave me a severe migraine for the last 40 years and plus. Hammer down that LDL, and LDL is bad, bad, bad. Hammer it down. Get it down. Why? What does it do? It hasn't even made a dent in heart disease. Not even a dent. As a matter of fact, heart disease is worse than ever. Imagine. Worse than ever. More people die of heart disease than anything else. It's still the number one killer. It's not bacteria. It's not viruses. We have chronic disease caused by food. Caused by food. You know it, and I know it. And people try and get me. They try and get me. Okay? Doc, would you look at my cholesterol? I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Looking for love in all the wrong places. You got low HDL. Here's what they know about LDL. Excuse me. Low density lipoprotein. Okay? What do they know about it? The lower it goes, the shorter your lifespan. Because and I said this 20 years ago. If God gave you LDL, there must be a good reason for it. If God gave you HDL, there must be a good reason for it. Okay? I don't vilify it. I never vilified LDL. I don't care about your LDL. And now, I do care in a way. If it's too low, you're just going to die. Oh, yeah, but I got my LDL down. Yeah, I'm dead. But I got my LDL down. I got my so-called bad cholesterol down. But I'm dead. Does that make any sense to you? You know what they know about LDL today? It's one of your fighters. It's the firemen and the police. And you know what they're showing? It is a huge part. Imagine LDL, a huge part of your immune system. Guys, you're made up of cholesterol. Day one in school, biology. Okay? Day one, the importance of cholesterol. It's in every cell. You got more cholesterol in your brain than anywhere else. Did God make a mistake? It drives me crazy. And good luck trying to undo it. Good luck. I talked to you. I was looking, okay, because you can actually look at the most recent results of the President of the United States, because his blood work is public. And he's got low cholesterol. Oh, yeah? How's that working for you? Anyway. I can't handle it. Okay, guy, I didn't even get to this chart. I think we're going to have to do a few sessions on this. But guys, you can see that I go over the basics again and again and again. Okay? I go over the basics again and again and again. Because it's so important. It's something that we can control. It's something we can do in terms of prevention. Okay. You know what tomorrow is? Question and answer Friday. So let's get our questions in. Okay. We love you guys dearly and sincerely. Okay. Talk to you soon.